Hey there, this is Therese Skelly, and I am so excited that you are going to be listening to an episode of the Fiercely Brilliant podcast. Do you like those two words? Fiercely brilliant. My hypothesis is that you are here for a reason. We all are. Our souls have led us on journeys that have very often taken some twists and turns, and sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes there's struggle and there's loss and there's challenge, and in the middle of that, there's always the way out. And it's those times that often lead us into our great life and work. So you're going to hear stories in these episodes of myself and other beautiful people that share the journey. They share how they got to the place where they're standing, working in their brilliance, and being the powerful leaders that they are. So stay tuned and enjoy this episode. Hey, this is Therese Skelly, and I'm so excited for you to listen to this episode of the Fiercely Brilliant podcast, because you're going to hear a story that not a lot of people are going to be sharing with you. You're going to hear a story of like my beautiful friend, Lisa Cherney, getting the pinnacle of a success and then going, yeah, no, and walking away and making changes in her life and her business. And that freaking takes courage. So if you're interested in like learning how to get some permission to do what you really want to do, following your heart and having the courage to take those little baby steps, you are in for a treat. So Lisa, I'm so glad you're here, darling.
Me too. Yay.
Thank you. We go way back. We have grown up in this industry together. And so it's been delightful to watch your journey. I have images of us sitting on the beach, and this was before you even had your baby girl. You're like, who's now? What, 16? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So tell us, because you've had so many versions of your business. You know, you were conscious marketing before anybody was talking about conscious marketing, right? And so just tell us today what you do and what you love about it.
Well, at its essence is that I help people own their soapbox or the stand that they want to take in the world.
Nice.
And communicate it in a way that they feel like they're really speaking their truth and getting to work and do the mission, that make the changes, help people in the way that they want to help them while they continue to evolve and learn about themselves and grow in the process. Which is what I've been doing consciousmarketing.com in 1999. It's been, it's marketing from the inside out. And boy, I didn't even know how inside out.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, you seriously, those words, nobody was using the word conscious marketing but you. Like, you were such a pioneer. And I love how you use the term evolve. So if you want to just start with there you were, just by your little very smart self with great content. I still remember seeing, in my head, I'm seeing your products and all your materials. And
I still use it. I still use all of that today because it was so timeless. It was about messaging and knowing who you're supposed to work with and how to talk about what you do in a way that so that's timeless.
Yes. Yes. So how did you get from kind of the one woman show that you were doing to the big stages you were playing on? So what kind of take us on that journey?
Gosh, so much of it was about my personal evolution. When I would do speaking around conscious marketing, I would acknowledge that, our business is our spiritual boot camp. And I remember when I said that, I knew that was the truth, but now here I am 22 years later, damn, that was the truth, and now I have this context of that my evolution is integral to my business. It's not something that slows me down. It's not something that, I have to change my brand, because now I'm changing. It's no, they are totally interdependent. And this is for the mission-based person, right? The person who's selling or marketing themselves, that something's really close to them. So that's the thread through my whole journey. And so when you say the big stages and all that, I just know that my own self-confidence journey and my willingness to see myself as the awesome, brilliant person that I am, and to really acknowledge I have something unique to share, and like so much of like that led to those things, right? You know, because we always look for what was the strategy, you know, did you reach out to them? Did you not?
Right,
right. But it to me now I know, and this is the space that I hold for I call them unmentor clients, because it's not about me giving them like this, you know, secret weapon, you know, like easy way. It's like, no, it's like, it's returning to us and owning that our business is our evolution. So what do I need to be learning right now? And that's why I'm not getting clients, not what social media posts that I not, you know,
my God, I
word correctly or whatever.
Yes. Okay. We're just going to pause this for a moment, because I feel like there's a brokenness in people. And when you are desperate, either desperate for money or you don't know what's next, right? Maybe you're lost or confused. It's so easy to have that predatory marketing message. It's like, but if you just do this, like these headlines, this is the proven. And how many of us have done that and gone, oh shit, well, that was wasted. And so I just want to highlight what you're saying is you have to do it from the inside. You have to grow first, and then your business comes with you. Is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying. And it's like, it's not like so if you go to lisacherney.com, there's this cool graphic called the Evolving Experts Ascension Model.
Nice.
And what it shows is how when we get real about where we're stuck or incongruent, we heal. And then that up levels like either our content, our program, and ourselves. And then that creates success in the business for ourselves and for our clients. And then it's this constant loop, but it's an upward spiral.
Beautiful.
Right? So it's like, yes, I need to grow and change and evolve in order for the business to grow. And then I need to do it again. And then I need to do it again. Right. Right. So it's just it's a constant thing. And that's, you know, in my latest iteration of my business, I work with people in this space I already mentioned called Unmentor. And what I got clear was a few years ago was that the people that I'm working with, and this goes for me too, is that I don't need any more formulas or systems or blueprints or like the exact perfect right way that I need to do it. I need to remember who I am. I need to trust myself again. I need to be more in flow. I need to like remember that I know all this stuff, and now I need to figure out what works best for me.
Right.
And that is a constant process of, oh, what am I resisting? Why am I procrastinating? Oh, I have this launch thing that I scheduled and I'm not really feeling it anymore. And it's a constant, it's like a practice now. It's like meditation. It's a practice. Right. It's like, I feel like being an evolving expert, is what I like to call it, is a consistent practice that if you're committed to it, it will grow the business. You know, it's like,
right.
Yeah. And so there's an unmentor phase. And you can check that out at my website. And there's a mentor phase where you show me the way, I will do anything you say.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
We were both there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and then, and if you're resonating with it, if any of your audience is resonating with, they also may realize like, yes, like I know I want to evolve, but nobody's system is really resonating with me. Right. It's because you don't need another system. You just now need to return to yourself.
And I feel like in our industry, there was one size fits all basically. And you're right. When you come in new, you don't know. Like I didn't know how to put a marketing funnel together. I didn't know how to send emails. You know, when you are new, you need to learn certain things. So we're not saying that that's not the case, but it's those of us who are like, I don't know, I'm going to shoot somebody that gives me another blueprint because the answers are inside, or the answers are, what do you have to step into in your own being, or where's the courage that you have to, you know what I mean? So I love that you're articulating this, because I think these are the pieces that are not talked. It's easy to get something from outside of you. It really is, like the shiny thing, like, oh, but look what they're doing on TikTok over there. Oh my God, I'll start a TikTok, as opposed to what's happening in me right now. So
yeah. And it does take so much trust and surrender.
Yes.
That's been my theme for the last couple of years too.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, so you had a pretty meteoric rise, right? You partnered with Lisa Sasevich for a while, worked in her program, supported her, were, you know, a huge part of her organization. Then you went on your own and you created a 7-figure business. Do you want to talk about any of that in there?
Well, the thing that I want to talk about is that I really thought that that number,
Yeah.
7 figures, $1 million,
Yes.
that was such a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I wanted to love my business along the way. And in fact, my old brand was 6 figures on your terms. It's like, yes,
Right.
like I knew that. But the truth is, when I got there in 2014, my gross sales were $1 million.
Yeah.
Actually, it was in 2013. My gross sales were $1 million. And in 2014, I GFR'd, got real, getting real, and said, I'm not having fun. Like, I created this amazing thing, 6-figure university. I had people from all over the world, hundreds of clients. And it just, it sounds kind of oversimplified or whatever, but like, it didn't make me happy. It wasn't the panacea. It wasn't the utopia. It just like, it was so many moving parts and so much energy to hold. And I wasn't able to be creative anymore because it kind of sort of created the thing. And then in the business model that I had bought into, it was like, you just set it and forget it, or you like rinse and repeat, or you like leverage so that you're like farther and farther and farther away from your clients.
From what you used to love. Right. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that it wasn't going to work for me, but it didn't. And so that was like the instigation. I think that was the start of the GFR mission, was making a decision that I needed to dismantle this business. I needed to exit this business. And it was a really, really difficult decision to make. And of course, nobody supported it, not nobody, but like, it's definitely not a popular decision to make.
So let's just back up. If you hear Lisa say GFR, it's because that's kind of her brand, and the GFR is get fucking real. And so I love that from this journey, like a whole new way of being. And you have a GFR podcast. It's your work now about getting fucking real.
Yes. And there's the 12 GFR commandments, which is like basically maps out all the different ways that I had to get real along the way.
Yeah. And so we're going to share all that stuff with you in a little bit, but how I'm imagining that, on paper you had it all. And, what we do want to say is you also had a very young child at the time. Bella was little. So you're a mom, you have a husband, you have a family life, you have parents, and you had this empire. And so what was that moment, Lisa? Was it like a gnawing, nagging, like, I don't know. Or did you just wake up one day and just go, like, how did you come to that? Because most people would never freaking walk away from $1 million business.
I know. And, one of the things that's integral to the GFR mission and the show, and we have a GFR squad, which is our, like a community, is confessions. And each of the commandments, like a key one that we're talking about here is number 8, which is know that sometimes stopping is the most lucrative action to take, which is freaking hard.
Yes.
And the confession question with that one is, where do I need to pause or stop, but haven't because of fear? Right. And like the confessing was first, and it was first to myself.
Wow. Yeah.
Just going, oh shit, I'm not having as much fun as I would like. And I'm stressing out way too much. And even though I had started meditating like the year before, and, like I had up leveled a lot of my inner game, it just essentially I had to really confess to myself first. And I have a low tolerance for not feeling good, or I have a low tolerance for not being happy.
As we should, like, listen, gals.
As we should.
Like that's a, you could have a 7-figure business, or you could have a low tolerance for not being happy. I think that's very admirable. Anyway, keep going.
So I didn't stay there for very long. I just couldn't. And I'm very authentic and transparent with my clients. And I just couldn't fake it. Like I couldn't pretend, that this was all going great. And in the end, my clients were super, they were amazingly supportive. And I wound up being a great example to them of, really taking a stand for making sure you love what you do and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Did anybody give you shit? Did any peers or family or anybody like, what is wrong with you? Like, did you have to encounter like backlash or pushback from people in your life that had an opinion of what you should have done?
Mostly peers, because I had all my peers were, and still are, all the people that teach all the things,
yes.
And they were like, well, you just need to get more butts in seats, and you just need to do on bigger, better launches, and then you just need to leverage more. And and really the bottom line was none of that resonated with me. Like I knew what I needed to do, and I didn't want to do any of it.
Yeah.
So, which that at the time, there's a lot of people that were saying that to me then that have also their businesses are no longer.
You were a trailblazer though, honey.
I was a trailblazer. Yeah. I didn't wait for it to die. I killed it on my own. So it was a big move just to know what I needed to do, but to decide not to do it. And that's where, now I say sometimes our smarts and our strategy really fuck with our flow. We're just too smart,
Absolutely.
Or we're too strategic to really trust the flow or our intuition, that we have. And now in the unmentor space that I'm in, that is the paramount number one guiding force.
Nice.
How does this feel? What does your guidance say? Yeah.
It's a whole new paradigm. It's a whole new way of being sourced, functioning, because most of us go follow the money, or what is the strategy? What's the plan? What's my marketing calendar have for me? Well, fuck that. What does my body want for me? What does my wisdom call? You know what I mean? What does my soul want? Okay. So breakdown. So somebody might not be going, oh God, I've got a 7-figure business. Perhaps I should let it go. Maybe they have a relationship they need to leave, or maybe they have to stop and walk away from something in their life that isn't serving them. Let's talk about, because it's one thing to go, this isn't working, to come to the realization, right? The courage to see the truth. And then you got to move your feet. Then you got to do the shit, right? So how do you tell people, let's give some really good tools right here, because this is where people fall down or can take years, or just, or give up on themselves. So.
Yeah, totally. And I have so much compassion for how hard things seem to feel.
Yeah.
Right. And so much empathy for the really, really convincing, I'm going to call it story, that we have sometimes of why we keep doing the things that we're doing that don't feel good. And so the GFR commandment number 1 is don't compromise. And that question, the confession question, is what am I tolerating? And Therese, it's such a great place to start, because I don't know, there's something about what am I tolerating that sort of it's just an easy, it's it's I'm not committing to anything, it's not earth shattering. I'm just making a list of things I'm tolerating. The mess in the garage, and my kid, not picking up their room, and my husband's really not the most great supportive person in my life. You just start really getting real about what you're tolerating. And that sometimes is that goes with the confession, right? It's that's the first place to start. And you're not even committing to doing anything. I think some people are afraid to even have the thoughts, because if I have the thought, then I have to do something about it. And we actually, in the GFR squad, we do every month, we take one of the commandments and the confession question, and we just talk about it. Because let's just talk about it. We're not, and of course the magic is that when we do confess, now we don't feel like a fraud anymore. Right now, we, we feel more congruent and aligned, and we haven't even done anything about it yet.
But you're shifting. You're already shifting just by opening up. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I would say, just start there. Just because too, we're in betrayal of ourselves. Let's just pretend that nobody else is in this picture and it's just us.
Yeah.
We're betraying ourselves. We could feel like we're lying to ourselves. If we could just be even truthful to ourselves, it's amazing what happens.
I think where people also break down, Lisa, is you got an internal guidance. You're so in tune. There's no questioning. When you get the hit,
You don't go, is it real? Is it mine? You know what I mean? You just go,
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Right. Because you and I, we've practiced this. It is as real as like science, math. Like there's nothing to question. Like,
it is as real as if I got a letter in the mail saying,
there we go.
You're not happy in your business. It's time to really seriously consider doing something about that.
There we go. But I think sometimes when something is so big and hairy and scary, it's easy to go, I just made that up. Like that was, and then to like, well, it wasn't that bad. And like, and kind of, we've all had that relationship where we're like, I'm breaking up. Well, he's kind of cute and we have really good sex. You know what I mean? Like we talk ourselves into it. So how do we help them strengthen the knowing? Like, cause I think if you can strengthen the knowing, cause there's the get the knowing and then, or we can strengthen the knowing, then you can take the steps from there. But it has to be so solid. So how do you help people strengthen their knowing? You call trust, but.
Yeah. I love the baby step. Like, and sometimes the baby step is just thinking, right? Sometimes the baby step is just journaling. Like and then I feel like we get more information as we lean into whatever it is, entertain the idea, and that sometimes if you're more of a logical type A person, that may mean you do spreadsheets and, SWOT analysis and, and if you're different, it may mean talking to somebody that's done it, or maybe listening to like my podcast is all about people that have like a similar, premise of like people that have struggled and then birthed businesses and up-leveled their businesses through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's the baby step, is just starting to feed yourself with a steady diet of possibility, through other people. And I think sometimes we're just even afraid to broach the subject or open up our mind, and like everything's going to implode, or like, it's like you can't even like lift the lid because you're going to get burned, Right. Yeah. Baby step, and whatever that means to you, whatever feels like something you could totally do. Baby steps you feel that they're totally doable. If you identify a baby step and you're like, that feels too big, it's not small enough.
Good.
Teeny.
Good.
Like if you were going to clean out your whole house, it might be a drawer. Like that kind of teeny, tiny baby step.
Good. So how did you do it? What was the process from, I think I'm going to burn it down, blow it up to where you are now today? Like, how did you make that happen?
Well, I did all the logical things that I'm talking about.
As you should, right?
Worked with my CFO and created all these financial scenarios. Well, if I let go of this part, but keep this part, what would I need to then do next and all that? And in the end, none of that really mattered. I knew that regardless of what it looked like on paper, I needed to just start to do it. And I needed to, so like I had an event. So this was in March of 2014. I had my final and third 6 Figures on Your Terms event scheduled in November. And I decided that I wasn't going to offer a year program which is huge, because when you do these events, at least in the old model, like that's how you get your money back. Or that's, so I decided I was only going to offer 6 months. So that was big. Like just doing that. I'm just offering 6 months. And then I decided that the last offer of my Cash Through Clarity, which is my central messaging stuff, which I still use now, that was going to be the last time I was doing that, and it was just like little by little kind of like getting to closure, like what, and then I did wind up extending things. And like, it took me about a year and a half to just really wind all the things down.
Well, you had contracts, you had agreements with people that you had to honor and things in place, right?
Sure. Okay. But also I think it's important to say that once you start stopping, commandment number 8, and once you start taking those baby steps, the universe pours a vacuum, they say, like other opportunities and things came in, but they weren't there until I really made a decision and started to take. Yeah. And so even though I was scared shit that I was letting go of all my income, like things came in, partnerships came in, other opportunities came in. And so that's and that takes a lot of faith. I know, y'all. I know, like, you're breadwinners, or you're only you, and you have no backup, and like, I get that. I get it, and but until you even make a baby steps, there's no way to even see what the possibilities are.
So there's the letting go first. right? As I say, there's destruction before creation. So you have to,
Yes.
however you do it, you have to destroy something and create a little vacuum. It doesn't have to be the whole, you don't have to burn the house down. You get rid of a few books, you know. And I'm a big proponent of the body. Like, imagine doing this for the next 6 months or 6 years. Is your body going yippee skippy, or like, just shoot me now? You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
Yeah.
And I think for so long, Lisa, we, especially as women, have been we've been trained to just dismiss ourselves and disregard ourselves. And so I love when you said, I don't have a good tolerance for not feeling good. And so that's something you can work on. Like, you can work on that. Does this bring me joy? If I do this, am I going to, at the end of the day, go, God, that's a great decision? Or like, well, I made 10 grand. Yeah. Right. And so I love your example of following your guidance and then having the courage to act on it. But I also want to say, didn't you say business is a spiritual boot camp? What was in the very first, those were the words?
Yes, that's what I used to say when back in my conscious marketing days, that our business is a spiritual boot camp.
Right. Mm-hmm. And part of the spiritual boot camp is trusting that you're always supported. Right? You want to say anything about that? Because if you didn't have faith in that, I think you could fly a little bit. You could take the leaps because you had the fundamental underpinning of, I know I'll be okay based on all the times I've been okay. Right. So how do we help people, like, just, you're going to be fine? How do we help them anchor that when it's really scary?
Well, I think it's important to get very specific about what the fears are.
Okay.
Right. So if it's a money fear, okay, it's time to dive into your money story. And like, for me, I know COVID really invited me to look at my money story in a much deeper way than I ever have. And for me, it was about safety and security. And so I just really needed to see that. Like, why we wouldn't dismantle a 7-figure business is because of there's a big money story there. Right. So as much faith and all that that is helpful. And look at the beliefs, the various, and you do amazing work around belief change and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, just see them, just get real about, oh, well, I believe that I can't because I need to make money, you know, or I believe I can't because I'm the sole support of my family and they need me. And like, recently I helped somebody who was transitioning out of a job, and they felt like, I'm going to ruin my family's life if I transition out of this job and I get a lesser paying job. And I'm like, ruin your family's life? Like, let's just really get real. Like, really, like, no,
pretty hardcore.
Like, ruin their life, you know. So we just have these stories, these such strong stories. So just question. I just have this mantra now: just question all the things, question all the narratives, question all the stories. I'm personally doing some deep work around unconscious bias. It's it's all the same, right? It's unconscious biases. Stories that we don't even know are stories.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just question all the things and have the courage to question the things. And that will be, it's like the thread, you're pulling the thread, you know, and it will begin to unravel.
Love that. Oof. Well, I'm sure my people are like, how the hell do I get more of this woman? And so to tell folks where to find you, because, you know, you talk about the GFR commandments and they're really fabulous. So really, like, Lisa is one of the people, you're smart as hell, but you've got such a good written, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really smart. I don't got the stuff.
I'm a trainer. I'm like a trainer.
That's what it is. Oh my God, that's what it is. Like, she's got the handouts and the things and it's brilliant. So where do they get the GFR commandments and show them like how to follow you and what you got for them?
Yeah. Well, I just want to, for those that are watching the video, so this is what the GFR commandments look like. It's a awesome download, and it's not, you don't have to go from 1 to 12. It's really, you read the confession questions and one is going to really zing you. And you're going to be like, oh, okay.
Ooh,
And I call it the roadmap for getting real. And it's just one commandment at a time, whichever one is resonating with you. So you go to gfr.life, LIFE, /12C for the 12 commandments. And I'm sure we'll put the link here wherever you're watching or listening to this. Grab your GFR commandments. That's you got to do it. Start there. And then listen to the show if you want to hear inspired stories of people that are GFRing. Every show, the guest shares their favorite commandment. And so it's also keeps you in that narrative. And then if you really want to hang out with me, come join the GFR squad. It's like $20 a month. And every month we focus on one of these commandments.
That's wonderful. You are a delight. You are just, I have loved seeing your rise and your evolution and how grounded you are today and how happy your life is and how things are working. You have a business that serves your life. And I think that's,
I call it, it's right size. I'd say it's right size.
Right size.
Very right size. Yeah.
And you don't have a 7-figure business, and it's the right size. It gives you everything you need, and you're happy.
And I'm almost making the same amount.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. They forget to tell you that gross net thing.
Oh, they do forget to tell you that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Forget. So the question I always ask my guests is there any last words, anything that kind of go into your heart, and just see if there's any other thing that you are inspired to share with my audience?
I think I just want to repeat, question your thinking.
Love it. Beautiful.
When you have a thought that feels stressful and you don't like the way it makes you, like, it's just just be willing to question. I feel like that is the babyest of baby steps that you can do, is go, what? Okay. That doesn't feel good. Is that true?
Yeah. Love it. Oh, brilliant. All right. Well, my good friend, I so appreciate getting to hang out with you. Thank you, honey. Yeah. And for those of you listening, follow Lisa. I recorded an episode of a GFR podcast, and it was she's literally one of the best interviewers. She's fabulous. And the shows are, there's a wealth of all different kinds of stories. And so the commandments, the GFR protocol that she talks about, they're really enlivened and embodied in the podcast. So here I'm on my podcast pitching your podcast, but they should go over there to follow you as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, look for Therese's episode. It was amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah. All right. Much love, peace, and blessings. And thanks for listening and watching.
Hey, this is Therese, and I'm so excited that you were with us today for another episode of the Fiercely Brilliant podcast. If you are inspired to get to that brilliant place, if you heard some wisdom today that made you think, yeah, I need some help in that area, I would encourage you to have a conversation with me. Super simple. You just go to thereseskelly.com/let's connect. It's a no charge, no pressure conversation. And if I can support you to clear the blocks, to really step into that brilliance, oh my gosh, it would be a delight. And I'll be honest with you, we'll just have a great conversation and see where we can take it. Peace and blessings. Bye.